To everyone that has found their spouse or their soulmate, how did you guys meet? Don't laugh. Met him in a World of Warcraft role-playing guild. Happily married in real life for 18 months now. That's way more wholesome than something like a Tinder match. Don't be ashamed of your hobbies. At a student protest, the riot cops were charging and firing tear gas. So we ran into a cafe, waiting for things to die down. This whole hiding in a cafe pretending to be on a date kinda turned into a date. We just kept hanging out together, going to museums, picnics, riding bikes, or going to the botanical gardens because it was so much damn fun. And well, before I knew it, I had a girlfriend. 9 years later, we're still going strong. I'd also advise against the whole soulmates bullcrap, though. A good relationship requires commitment and hard work. You'll inevitably reach rocky patches. So there's no meant to be. There's only worth fighting through the hard times for. She hit me with her car. When I woke up in the hospital, there she was, scared because she thought I was going to sue her. Instead, I invited her on a date. Date me or I will sue. I'm kidding, it sounds like something out of a romance film. Smiley face. McFly, how I met your mother. Well son, first day of first grade in 2004. He pulled my hair day one, and guess what? 16 years later I enjoy it. Wasn't expecting that. She puked on me outside of a club. Wanted to take me to lunch to apologize. Here we are. I was performing at a storytelling open mic, and he came up to me after to tell me he liked my story. 3 years later we noticed that in a photo of that night, which my friend took of me performing, you can also see him sitting in the front row staring at me. That's our first photo together. This is so cute. I'm smiling so hard right now, it's like a scene right out of a book. Dating service through a local radio station. 22 years together and still very much in love. I am so lonely, help. How many tables have you built so far? This is very important when looking for a relationship. Tables. Like actual tables. Yes, so how many tables have you built in your lifetime so far? Well, one shitty one. Why? See, women can sense that. I myself have built 97 tables in my life and am now a dating god. Damn, reading all these comments reminds me of how much of a lonely failure I am at life. How many tables have you built in your life? This is very important when trying to find a relationship. 0. Well, you gotta build some tables. I myself have built 97 tables and have an extremely successful dating life. My friend was his sister-in-law. He was going to pick up his date, so they picked me up too. Heard from him the next day. 37 years ago. So she was a mutual friend on Facebook. We would comment on friends' posts and I thought she seemed pretty interesting. I sent a friend request and she accepted. I asked if she would like to get a coffee and she didn't even decline but just ghosted. But didn't unfriend. Not my first no in life. But I thought it was weird to accept my friend request then completely ghost. She actually replied a few days later. Her non-mutual friend said she should say yes and she was just nervous. As it turns out, her cat liked to walk on the keyboard, as cats do, and the cat accepted my friend request. I hope that cat was later properly rewarded. At work, we met at a corporate event and he asked me out on a date. He was very senior and I wasn't at all, so it was a bit awkward at first, especially as his ex worked there and she was senior too. 9 years and 2 kids later, I look back on those times fondly. Do you like her? I do, but it took her a while to adjust and she was quite mean for a while. Now she's married and it's all forgotten, thankfully. This sounds like a joke, but it's not. My husband and I met at church. Neither of us are Christian. Even after that, lol. I was shooting guns up in the air in the middle of the night and this lady came up to me and asked me to stop. His parents came to my house, basically asking my parents' permission to let us hang out and get to know each other. It isn't an arranged marriage proposal or anything. Really? My mother-in-law just somehow so sure that we would be a good fit for each other. Although she never really met me and just heard about me from stories told by my mother's friends. They were in the same circle but was not close with each other. She practically had to beg my husband for months into agreeing to meet me. Me and my parents were told by a family friend that an acquaintance of her will be coming to our home, and to make sure I was there to meet them too. We were not told who's coming, and what their intentions are. It was so weird. They want me to date their son while they literally know almost nothing about me. Don't even know my job, or my educational background. I was coming home from a night shift, so I was really tired and sleepy, and I just want to get things over with so I can finally get some sleep. My memory of that day was blurry at best. Well, to honor mother-in-law's effort, we decided to give it a chance. We went on a date, and another. A month in, we decided to get married and actually shocked everyone. Haha, must have been awkward at first. Wait, what? Only a month? Question mark. You guys fast ASFLMAO. Funny thing is, it wasn't. Conversation between us flows easily. I remember the first days we text almost 24/7. My past relationships, I almost always date 1+ years. Was engaged at one point with another guy, but it fell through. With my husband, something just feels right. We're 7 years married now with a kid. Haven't had any major issues. I guess when you knew, you knew. Had I not gone to this particular place on this particular date, our paths would never have crossed. Ever. That was 41 years ago. He knocked me unconscious for a minute or so and gave me a bloody nose. We were in our 7th, 8th grade band class of all places. He was telling some story to his friends as I was walking up behind. "Hi monsieur," he made a sudden gesture, sticking his arms out wide, striking me in the face and knocking me out. He had a crush on me from that moment on, but lol, I was oblivious to it until my junior year of high school. On the street late at night, pure coincidence. MMHH monsieur, pure coincidence. This is just a stalker turned wholesome story. Haha, ooh, fancy meeting you here. ISNT, that odd. What a small world. You like walking alone down this road too? Why, it's just the two of us. And the sound of our shoes. Our breathing. Our hearts beating a little too quickly. The smell of perspiration on your skin. We met in an MMORPG. I was running what was then one of the top PvE guilds on our server, and he asked to join. The first thing he said to me was, "I'd love to join, but fair warning, I'm a bit of a manho," and I sent him the eye roll emoji in-game and said something along the lines, "Oh great, you can join. Just stay away from me. Thanks." Reddit. We were in the same army unit. Military marriages are notorious for falling apart after a few months, but we just hit our 11-year anniversary. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations on your seen and unseen commitment and effort paying off. Smiley face. She sat down in the chair next to me in chemistry class. We joked around a bit and started talking. One day, she pulled out a hairbrush and cast a spell on me using it on her gorgeous red hair. I failed my will save and have been hers ever since. Username checks out. Got locked out of my apartment by my ex-husband. Decided to walk over to my friend's house. But halfway there I ran into one of my then new co-workers stepping out of a corner store. It was raining in the middle of winter and I didn't have any shoes on. She offered to let me crash at her place, but her family was over for Christmas, so I had to climb into her bedroom window. One night crashing led to me pretty much living in her bedroom for 2 weeks and becoming the female Romeo to her Juliet. I would even order us food, climb out to get it, and have her hoist me back in again. We've been together ever since. Ah, sad beginning but nice. We were at a summer camp in 4th grade. She looked really sad, so I went up and talked to her. We started talking about cats and she asked me my favorite breed. It was Persian cats at the time. And when I told her, she said, "Oh, I love Persian cats." Their faces are life PFFT. And proceeded to smack herself in the face. Persian cats have flat faces. For everyone who might have been confused by that, turns out she didn't really have the best family life and became suicidal in middle school. I helped her through it the best that I could. That's when we began dating, and I'm so proud of her. She means the world to me and I love her so much. If I lived in one of those alternate universes where my soulmate's first words to me were tattooed on my arm, none of my friends would be surprised that it was something about cats. I was manager at McDonald's and got transferred to a different store. She was a crew member there. My roommates also worked with me and they had a party and invited everyone over. She came. After a while I went off to my room and she knocked on my door and asked if she could chill too. We just started talking and I kissed her. She ended up staying the night. Nothing more than kissing happened cause I was hella awkward. Anyway, we've been together 15 years. Married 10. With 4 kids. Been friends since nursery. It is not about how you meet but about how you stay together. Soulmatism is awarded retroactively. A mutual friend kept trying to introduce us but neither of us were into it. The mutual friend had terrible taste in men so I didn't trust her judgment. We happened to all end up at the same place one night and were introduced by our mutual friend. We've been together 14 years this year. Tinder. Happily married now. Craigslist personals. I posted and he was one of the few replies that did not force a dick pic on me. What a gent. He was my roommate's boyfriend's roommate. So we became roommates dating roommates. We all got engaged and married the same summer. It'll be 20 years in a couple weeks. I needed a vocalist for a side project. Out of many that I met, she was the only one I clicked with artistically and personally. Yes, we worked professionally for about 6 weeks. But then things quickly turned into something else. After a year we got married and almost 20 years later we're still together and making music. I'm a firm believer that there are multiple, if not thousands, of soulmates for everyone. But when you find one, it's so obviously clear. Give them a chance even if you or they are already taken. Married 11 years to the love of my life. We rarely argue. Never fight. We have 2 wonderful twin daughters. Met her on Craigslist personals. So marriages like this really exist. Congrats. It's wonderful. I work. She stays home with the kids. She has an MBA education. But because our kids have ADD and autism, we're waiting a few years for her to a job because they need a lot of help at school. We just don't argue. If we have a disagreement, we talk it out. I grew up with parents that fought a lot, and I just don't want to do that. I don't have a mean bone in my body and I just couldn't imagine getting mad at her. We disagree. Like I don't like she won't eat vegetables around the kids. But we talk it out and make plans on how to fix it. I met her at our then part-time job. We are and will never be in a relationship. We are a male and female and one of us is gay. But we are family. We met when we both went through a rough time. First time we had lunch break together we talked non-stop. Since then we've been growing closer and closer. She is my person. We both believe we are soulmates. I have quite a few friends like that. Kindred spirits. Moved to a new city and got a new job. Met this cute little southern gal that called me a very nasty name the first time we talked. We met in April and got married in November. Of course both families were aghast and some bemoaned the fact that we were destined to fail. We celebrate 26 years this year. We agreed to one simple rule when we got married. Never ever go to bed mad. So far, so good. Hoping for another 26. World of Warcraft. He was some PvPer in our guild that never helped farm consumables for our raid. Which pissed me off. I was that girl that kept taking his farming spot and he wished I was alliance so he could gank me. Greater than so he could gank me. Is that what they're calling it now? He interviewed me for a job as a server right out of college. He was an hourly manager at the time and was supposed to have left 20 minutes earlier but stayed. late because of a computer issue or something. And the general manager asked him to do my interview for "Hi monsieur, they lost my application." But he remembered my phone number because it is only 2 digits different from his. Got the job. During a shift I tripped on a rug. He caught me in his arms. Very movie-like. And we both thought the other held on for just a little too long, and that's how we figured out we were into each other. Lol. He had given his 4-week notice a week before I started. So we started dating pretty much within a few weeks of meeting each other. Been married 4.5 years now. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.